All right, in this video, we are going to talk through some questions that you might get asked if you were given a map like this with units and streams on it and asked to identify types of faults that are in this image and overall types of structures. So here we've got some thinner lines. These are our contacts between units. We've got thick lines. These are our faults. And then we have an overlying structure or an underlying structure that we don't know what this is yet. I've highlighted our streams in orange. So let's figure out what the western fault is, what the eastern fault is, and then what the overall structure is. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the stream and figure out what's up valley and what's down valley. Now, streams will collect as they come down valley. So that means that these two streams are collecting into one stream. So this is my direction of stream flow. And the reason why that's important is that that's going to help us understand the dip of our units based on rule of V's and the dip of our faults too. So, for example, this dark fault right here that's between units C and D, we can go ahead and label that as dipping up valley. This one is dipping down valley. These units seem to be kind of following topography. So maybe these are more shallow beds or shallowly dipping units. These are dipping up valley. And the first thing that I would do when I get something like this is I just go through and label because it will make your life a lot easier. Same thing over here. Like I've got this unit B, it comes around. I'm just going to throw a B in here. Like save yourself some time. Okay, let's start with this western fault. We want to know what the western fault is. So let's draw a really quick cross section. I think quick cross sections are kind of the way to go with things like this. I am going to switch colors though so that my work kind of stands out. So I'm going to make an A here and I'll make an A prime down there. And I'm going to kind of imagine going across like this. Now, most likely, if I were looking at real topography, my real topography would kind of be falling off down valley, right? That's how water flows with gravity. But I'm going to draw this as horizontal topography just to make our lives easier. I'll mark the location of the fault. It's kind of in the middle of our cross section. This is the western fault. And then I can start drawing in the units and the unit dips. So my fault was dipping to the west. In my cross section as a whole, this is west and this is more east. And then my units, my stratigraphy is also dipping to the west, but maybe like a little shallower. So I've got E and D and F. And then I've got C and B and A. Okay, now right off the bat, it might be hard to visualize what kind of fault this is, but we know that these units are dipping and we don't think that they're overturned. We haven't been given a reason to believe that they're overturned. So that means that A is the oldest and F is the youngest. Now let's give a pretend thickness to D because that's going to help us visualize what happened on this fault. Continue D down, continue C and B down. Draw my fault. Now, if I do that, then what's going to end up becoming clear is that this younger unit, being D, again, because they're kind of stacked like this, my younger unit D is on top of my older unit C. Just if I could drill down, right, I would have younger on top of older. Now, that is totally normal. That can happen without a fault, but we know that there's a fault here. And so we know that that has to be a normal fault now that we've got an age relationship. Okay, let's say that we want to know what the eastern fault is. So let's continue our cross-section line. We're going to go over to a double A prime. That's all the way on the other side of our map area. Okay, I've got my stream in the middle. I'm not really going to mark the location of that, but I am going to come over here and mark the location of my fault, my eastern fault. And my eastern fault was also dipping to the west. We drew that in the beginning. Now, coming across here, I keep my unit A for quite a while, and I need to make sure that right up against this fault, I hit unit D. Now, my units over here, we drew this in, are dipping to the east. So I'm going to have unit D, I'm going to have unit C, I'm going to have unit B, and then I end in A. I carry these down to the fault, and I'm not maintaining unit thickness. If we were making this cross section for anything nice, of course I would, but we're not doing that right now. All right, we have unit E over here. I'm going to change this to east, just so I can keep this straight. Unit E is also dipping to the east. And F and G. Okay. Now, I don't know how thick unit E is. If I were doing this in real life, again, I would come over here and look at my other exposure. So maybe I'll keep it as consistent as I can. Below unit E, I know I had unit D, C, and so on. Okay, so in this fault situation, I have unit D, which is older, on top of unit E, which is younger. If I put a little drill core right here, I would hit older rock and then I would hit younger rock. And so that tells me that this feature is a thrust fault. So my eastern fault is a thrust and my western fault was a normal fault. Now, what's my overlying structure? It seems like I have some steeper units dipping over here, and I have some shallower units dipping over here. So overall, we're coming away from a center point, we're coming away from a hinge. We are dealing with an anticline. We've got older units in the middle, assuming this hasn't been overturned, and younger units on either side. And then that anticline is mildly asymmetric, and I've moved this center part up on top of, or the center part being the hinge, but now also the hanging wall. I've moved that on top of the footwall, and then the outer part of my hanging wall has dropped back. So hope that helps you figure out if you're given a map like this on a test, what type of structures are you dealing with, and what's your overall structure?